Hello and welcome to my channel, I Win to Lose Gaming. In this video, I will be showcasing a level 90 Constellation Zero Ayaka with the 4-star free-to-play friendly weapon, the Blackcliff Longsword. I spent hours farming her to level 90 once she was released. Let me tell you, it was an incredibly grueling experience to get her to level 90 on the first day. But before we get started with this showcase, I'd really appreciate it if you checked out the sponsor for today's video, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends has millions of players and dozens of tough bosses. Click on the link in the description below or scan the QR code on your screen to get started with Raid. The Bannerlords are basically medieval knights. They're arrogant and warlike and believe themselves to be on the side of good. But the orcs, ogrins, skinwalkers, and lizardmen would disagree. The lands of the Bannerlords were taken from the non-humans by force and kept through centuries of persecution with the help of the Sacred Order. Now with the Bannerlords weakened, the time may be at hand for these races to right an ancient wrong. Some of my favorite Bannerlord champions are Satalia, Manaya, and the Archmage Helmet for his shocking design. And did you know, the fastest way to level up your champions is through farming the campaign. You can grind loads of EXP and silver all at the same time. With tons of quality of life features in Raid, you'll be able to farm tons of resources super efficiently. Raid's got a non-stop schedule of summer events and activities. We're talking special fusion events to get a brand new legendary champion, tournaments against other players, and much more. They're also releasing 5 amazing new champions, and each of them looks incredible. And there's some more giant updates coming very soon, so there's really never been a better time to get started. If you want to get a huge head start in Raid, all you have to do is hit the link in the description or scan the QR code right here. New players will get an epic hero, Chinoru, who is amazing in Doom Tower, 200,000 silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy refill, and 1 ancient shard so you can summon an awesome champion as soon as you get in game. You will find your rewards here in your inbox for the next 30 days only. Seriously guys, I wanted to thank all of you for your support, as well as Raid Shadow Legends for their generosity in sponsoring this video. Let's go over my Ayaka's build. Her talents are at 8, 8, and 9. She'll be running with relatively low crit rate because she'll be using the Blizzard Strayer 4-piece set. Her stats are at 2011 attack, 55.9% crit rate, and 234.8% crit damage. The Blizzard Strayer set provides 20 to 40% additional crit rate. That's why I can get away with just using 55.9% crit rate on this build. She is using an attack percent timepiece, cryo damage goblet, and crit damage circlet. And of course she will be at Constellation Zero throughout this entire video. Anyway, let's start off by showcasing her basic attack damage against our favorite volunteer, the Primo Geovishap. It's important for her kit to start off a fight with her dash, as that provides her with 30% bonus normal and charge attack damage. It also provides her with 18% additional cryo damage. As we can see, with her basic attacks at talent level 8, she was just able to take out our poor plant volunteer. Now let's see how much damage her burst does without any buffs. Wow, that's pretty impressive considering it's just her burst without anything else. Literally I just press Q and there's no more Primo Geovishap. However, that's not really how Ayaka was intended to be played. Let's try using her entire kit against our favorite volunteer. RIP our poor plant friend, it didn't stand a chance. So nowadays, I think a good litmus test for any new 5-star DPS is if that 5-star DPS can one-cycle the Primo Geovishap with a full team. This composition is focused on doing a ton of damage with her burst. Unfortunately, my Bennett is at Constellation 6, so that does lower her basic attack damage by quite a bit. But regardless, we can see how it performs against the Primo Geovishap. Ayaka at Constellation 0 was able to cleanly one-cycle the Primo Geovishap. This is an amazing performance, and Ayaka is already looking to be an extremely impressive main DPS character. Now let's try her out on the new Perpetual Mechanical Array Inazuma World Boss. Against this thing, I unfortunately didn't have optimal rotations since I wasn't used to using her yet. As we can see, her burst is living up to its potential and brought the Perpetual Mechanical Array down to its second phase. Then, after that, Ayaka's significantly lower DPS charge attacks did manage to finish off the add-on. And then she finally had her burst back up to easily clean up the last bit of the boss. But now, what kind of showcase would this be without an Abyss 12 showcase? For Abyss 12, I'll be running her in a freeze team. She will have Bennett, Venti, and Mona as support. Venti will use a level 1 1-star bow, so he doesn't do too much damage, and Mona will simply be using the Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers and the Tenacity of Millilith to buff Ayaka's damage. Please keep in mind that my support characters have a lot of constellations, but you should still be able to see how Ayaka herself does at Constellation 0. Ayaka. This surprised me when I did it. 12-3-1 was a piece of cake and only took 13 seconds, and this strategy is actually pretty consistent to do. Even in Constellation 0, with just the Blackcliff Longsword, Ayaka's burst was able to basically one-shot the entire floor. Anyway, let's move on to 12-2-1, where in theory, the Cryo Aura and Cryo Assassin mages should be difficult here. Well, that last burst was one of the most satisfying things I've done in Genshin Impact in a long time. Getting her burst stuck on a group of frozen enemies, with even one of them that heavily resists cryo, and watching them get shredded into oblivion was a bit cathartic. Another stellar performance by our long-awaited Ayaka. And lastly, we have 12-3-1. By applying freeze to the Abyss Lector, we're able to use Ayaka's burst to cleanly one-cycle it. Before long, there's no more Abyss Lector to worry about. Unfortunately, due to Venti's extremely low damage here, he wasn't able to clean up that last Abyss Mage. Oh well, nothing that Ayaka couldn't handle. Wow, so far Ayaka has far exceeded my expectations. My initial impressions at Constellation 0 is that she has one of the best and easiest to use bursts in the entire game. If I'm correct, her burst ticks 19 times and explodes at the end, for a total of 3,913.65% damage at level 9. Unfortunately, I do find her basic attacks to be a bit lackluster, but they are still perfectly usable and great for cleaning up stragglers and adding a bit of extra DPS during her burst. What's doubly interesting to me is that I believe Ayaka can open up speedruns for a lot of players, even free-to-play players, and dolphins as well. As you saw in my 12-1-1 run, Ayaka cleaned up the floor in a measly 13 seconds at Constellation 0 with the 4-star Blackcliff Longsword. Free-to-play players can reach similar levels of damage to my Ayaka here, which is extremely promising. Let me know what you guys think about Constellation 0 Ayaka so far. I plan to make a much more thorough guide video for her next, going over her kit, builds, teams, and more. So if you're interested in that, let me know and smash that subscribe button. But before wrapping up this video, I wanted to quickly plug Not Irwin's Genshin Utils support bot. Not Irwin found some volunteers for me to steal Sakura blooms from. The Genshin Utils bot is in many Genshin discords that you're probably already familiar with. I'll have a link to the unofficial Genshin Impact server which does have this bot. This bot has tons of guides and tons of useful resources. Need to see a guide on a character? Just try the g.wiki Klee command to see a guide on Klee. You can check popular farming routes, look at cute chibis, and even set Discord reminders to do specific things, like farm stuff for a specific character. Anyway, big thanks again to Not Irwin for his help in making this video possible. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. This is I Win to Lose, signing out.